Hey everybody, and welcome back to Hex Token channel. How are you guys doing out there? Woo! Rock on with the DMB. Hey, we're gonna have a bit of fun today. Now, obviously, it's the quiet before the storm, so we're waiting for PulseChain testnet v3, and yeah, everybody's pretty quiet at the moment. But we're gonna get into some cool stuff on the channel today. We obviously get into stock market day Tuesday for the stock market results. We're gonna get into crypto, of course. We're gonna talk about how North Korea loves crypto too. I hope you guys love it. It's a bit of a fun. And of course, then we're going to get into the Hex and Hex ecosystem charts. We're covering Maximus today too, and of course, Hedron Akosa. And then, of course, we're going to have a quick update on Zen. And then finally, up to one of the PulseChain devs making a comment on Twitter. We're going to talk about that. And of course, all the rumors that have been spreading by some of our top influencers, which may have been getting a bit ahead of themselves there. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to wrap up with the Hex Daily Stats. It's going to be a bit of fun. So let's see who is in the house at the moment. We've got a few people here. We got Kiwi Crypto New Zealand is rejoined as a member. So a big shout out to you. And of course, thanks everybody to all the members that support this channel. Really do appreciate it. And of course, we do stream here every day, PulseChain, Hex, and many other cool crypto topics as well. So I hope you guys are enjoying that. And of course, we cover the stock market, which is kind of cool too. We got Brian in the house there. Good to see you, Brian. What's up, folks? And of course, who else? Sarah G in the house. Hello, everybody. Good to see you, Sarah G, as always. Katie as well, one of our moderators. Hey, all. Good to see you, Katie. We got Wookie in the house as well, another moderator. Woohoo! We in strange times. The force is strong. With what does it all mean? Says Wookie. It means that we're in the quiet before the storm. That's what it means, Wookie, for PulseChain. Twitter is fun, I must admit. So Sandy Beach is ramping up as a Twitter influencer on Twitter. So if you haven't followed Sandy Beach, follow Sandy Beach. Sandy, post your link again for your Twitter account. I know we posted it yesterday, but hey, it can't be wrong doing at least twice, can we? So if you're not following Sandy Beach, she's going to be increasing herself as an influence in the PulseChain Hex space on Twitter, which we love. We love that. So get on there. She'll be up there against KDP. Helvita, and who else is on there? A couple others, Fashion Coda, maybe other people like that. So big shout out to Sandy Beach. Michael R is in the house here. We are strong together. We certainly are, Michael. I agree with that. Bright Light Crypto as well. Hey, Hexkins, good to see you, Bright Light. Hex G and as well, evening family from Hex G. JB as well, evening all. Good to see JB. Brendan as well, morning Superman and family. I came and uncle a few hours ago. Well done, Brent. Well done, Brendan. Congratulations for that. And Granddad says, g'day, bro. Good to see you, Granddad. I followed Sandy. Is great, says JB, definitely. And Rango in the house as well. Morning, all. Great to see everybody in the house there. All right, so cool. Let's get straight into it. We got the Dow rises on the stock market as earnings season heats up. So we got earnings season in play. Microsoft quarterly two, EPS, earnings per share beats, as it say. So that's kind of good news for them. Let's look at the Dow Jones. Remember, the Dow Jones Industrials is the top 30 industrial firms, at least the ones that are in the index. And, of course, it is up a 0.3%, 104 points to 33,733. So good news there for Dow Jones. The other market, S&P, was a little flat there at 4,016, just down almost 3 points. And NASDAQ was down slightly there, almost 1/3%, down 30 points there to 11,334. So that's all the tech companies there in the old NASDAQ. The dollar is down versus trading partners, down 0.25%, down to 101.67 on the index. Let's jump to the commodities on Tuesday. So these are Tuesday's results. We've got West Texas there. Brent oil is down 2.2%, down $2 to $86.25. And West Texas is currently about flat at the moment at $80. Gold is down 50 cents to $1,938. And silver is down a tad there, about 4 cents to $23.75. So silver there being stuck below, it's got a resistance there between the $24 and $28. We'll see whether it can pivot. Obviously waiting for the Fed to pivot in the US dollar as well to tank. What else there? That's pretty much it. Let's get into the commentary. The Dow notched up a third straight day of gains Tuesday as investors weighed up a slew of quarterly results as the earnings season continued to gather pace. Industrials led the broader market higher following an 8% surge in Packer after a truck manufacturing company reported quarterly results that bet on both the top and bottom line. So that's cool news for that. Defense companies, Raytheon Technologies, now you've probably heard of that in movies before, and Lockheed Martin, of course, also underpinned gains in sector following the later quarterly results that topped estimates. So defense companies doing well. Probably not surprising, right? Probably not surprising given the machine there. Everything on the earnings front, material maker 3M company, major Dow components slumped more than 6% after quarterly earnings missed estimates, and the company flagging a slowdown demand, announcing 2,500 layoffs. So we've obviously seen a lot of those with the tech companies. Probably no surprise there. Xeon's Bank Corporation there, or Bank Corporation, meanwhile closed more than 1% lower as its better than expected fourth quarter earnings per share was offset by a gloomy outlook, as CEO Harris Simmons said the bank was stocking away more money to protect against the slowing economy there. Tech was roughly unchanged on the day as gains in Apple were offset by wobble in Alphabet, as the later attracted further regulatory scrutiny. Yeah, but they're not getting scrutinized for the right reasons, 100%, are they? The U.S. Justice Department filed a lawsuit against Google, alleging that the search engine giant violated antitrust laws by abusing its monopoly in ad technology. Yeah, well, it's just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it? So get onto it. It's good to see something being done, though, I guess. Chip stocks gave back some of their gains from a day earlier on struggles of advanced micro devices. Now, we talked about that yesterday, as Bernstein downgraded the chip maker to market perform from outperform, citing weakness in the personal computer market and new parts market there. Microsoft Corporation, which ended the day just below the flatline, surged after its quarterly earnings, top Wall Street estimates driven by growth in its cloud business, which has tended to do pretty well. Now, in meme-related news, as they call it, Bed Bath & Beyond, and maybe some of you have shopped there, continued to put the squeeze on short sellers, rallying more than 50%, even as the retailer is widely expected to be on the brink of bankruptcy. So there might be some good sales coming up there at Bed Bath & Beyond. Let's take that. All right, that is pretty much the stock market and commodities and exchange rates. Let's get into crypto. Crypto just cooling off a little bit there after having such a nice rally. BTC over 23K. Just down the last hour, actually. The last hour in particular, it seems to pull back a bit there. 22,619 is the BTC. ETH there at 1546, down 4%, and BNB is down 1.25% there to 301. Remember, BNB has a lot of burning in it, something like 50%, I think, of the fees get burned on BNB. So it's slowly deflating there. It's pretty cool. We can see all the rest there. Everyone else is pretty much down. Solana down particularly big there, 6% almost, $22.93. And we've got DOT down, other stuff there. The stable coins are peaked, as you can see. USDC, USD Tether staying strong. That's pretty cool. And I think that's kind of it there. Let's have a look at SHIB. SHIB is down 7% there on SHIB. And everything else is pretty mixed bag there. So that is pretty much the crypto market overall. Let's go to the BTC itself and have a look here. Definitely looking like we're going to get some sort of golden cross here with the 100-day here in purple crossing over the green line, which is the 200-day moving average there. So definitely look like that will probably cross. The reason why is this is so steep, right? So steep. And of course, that's the direction and the steepness of the rise in Bitcoin, likely to have this cross in time. But by the time this crosses, it's either going to could be the end of that run, or this could just move sideways probably and consolidate a bit there. We'll see. We can see how the price often doesn't move, and then consolidates, doesn't move, and stuff like that. But sometimes it can take a different pattern, like zigzag up here. So it can do different things there. We can see the other ones there. We had a death cross. That's what has put us into this big bear market for Bitcoin. And of course, we had a golden cross up here. Remember, it was quite steep. See the rise quite steep there? They're quite reasonable that we'd get a golden cross there, given that this looks kind of similar, right? So we'll see whether these cross over. So when this started crossing over, we're pretty much near the top of the Bitcoin. Be interesting to see whether we see a similar pattern run here. In any case, lost my chart there. But in any case, we've got some bullish things happening. We're also over the 200-day moving average, which is really bullish. And we also bet the downtrend from the bear market in terms of the resistance line. We also popped above with that as well. So that's kind of pretty cool. So looking forward to see where this heads from here. and we might end up with that golden cross on Bitcoin. Now, let's jump over to North Korea. North Korea, welcome to North Korea. Take up your hotel room. Don't pull down any signs, though. You touch any of those signs, you could end up in trouble. North Korea behind $100 million crypto theft, FBI says, because North Korea loves crypto too. Crypto-based Harmony said in June it had been the target of a cyber attack that stole $100 million worth of digital assets. And, of course, North Korea hackers were behind the theft of $100 million worth of digital assets from a U.S. crypto firm last year, according to United States law enforcement. The North Korean hacking group, Lazarus Group, and APT38, so two hacking groups from North Korea, carried out the cyber heist on crypto firm Harmony last June, and the FBI said. And, of course, North Korea cyber actors earlier this month used privacy protocol Railgun to launder more than $60 million worth of Ethereum stolen during the heist. The heist, you love the word, the heist. A portion of which was sent to several virtual asset services providers and converted to Bitcoin. Everyone wants the Bitcoin there. Harmony, which has its headquarters in California, announced in June that hackers had stolen $100 million in digital coins from Horizon Bridge, the so-called blockchain bridge used to move cryptocurrencies between different blockchain networks. The FBI, which previously issued an advisory about malware campaign used in the heist, Traitor, said it had frozen some of the funds with the cooperation of some of the virtual asset service providers. So there's different techniques to try and capture this, capture the heist, as it were. The FBI said it would be working to identify and disrupt efforts to steal and launder cryptocurrency that supported the secret state's illicit missile and nuclear weapons programs. The FBI will continue to expose and combat DPRK's use of illicit activities, including cybercrime and virtual currency theft, to generate revenue for the regime, as it were. South Korea's spy agency said in December that North Korea hackers had stolen an estimated 1.5 trillion South Korean won, which equates to $1.2 billion US dollars in virtual assets during the past 5 years, including 800 billion South Korean won, or 650 million US dollars in 2022 alone. So they've ramped up their activities. That's for sure. They love, as I said, North Korea loves crypto too. They want it bad. Blockchain analysis firm Chain Analysis said in a report released in January last year that the value of assets stolen in North Korea linked cyber attacks grew by 40% from 2020 to 2021. So that's kind of some of the cool things happening there from there. So I thought I'd cover that briefly. It's a pretty big money that North Korea is trying to scam of people, particularly in South Korea, from the looks of it. So that is some interesting things there. We're going to jump into Hex, though. Hex was doing pretty well until the last couple of hours here on the old Hex chart. We were up at nice little uptrend going on here. We didn't get as high as the last little up. Remember this little run here? We got up to 2.6 cents. Then we got our whale that sold us down here and took us all the way back there, ruined our uptrend. I thought we might have a chance of attacking that 2.8 cents or so, but didn't happen. And now we're trying to recover from that, and of course, we'll climb back up there. So we get the whale sell off. We have a bit of a relief rally, but market gets a bit exhausted, doesn't it? And down it comes, and then of course it tries to move back up again as well. On the news, obviously, PulseChain testing at 33 coming as well. Last couple of hours, we just got sold off. Once a couple started selling, we saw more just jump on top of the bagwagon. So that is with the Hex price there on the hourly. And of course, let's have a look at the daily. We're currently at 2.44 cents. That is the daily there, so we can sort of zoom on that. We're still trying to move higher in this move, as you can see. And the last 24 hours, we had 164 buys and 139 sells on the top trading pair, which has $6.3 million in liquidity in it. The buy volume was 788,000 versus the sell volume of 796. So sell volume just slightly higher by 2% difference at 51%. Over the last 6 hours, though, that's most of it's happened in the last 6 hours, as we show in the last 3 hours in particular. But basically 306,000 volume sold versus 174 buy volume. In the last hour, that is no different. 154,000 versus 6,800. So maybe that's going to cool off now after 3 hours. We will see. at the moment. This is what our chart looks like. So 2.44 cents there. Obviously, the market waiting for some more news around PulseChain, Pulse gains, as it were. Now, will we see PulseChain testnet V3 in the next week or so? We'll find out. At the moment, I've got my guesstimation chart. Let's pull this all up here. I've got that. Let me just scroll this in the house. Bam. So at the moment, I've got, we're currently on the 24th of January. I got the 26th of January is my earliest date that we might get that. But I've got quite a big window here right through the 12th of March. We'll see. I suspect we might be on the front end of this. We know they're in testing and changing UIs and things like that. We've seen a couple little minor changes on the websites, PulseX and things like that. So we'll see how we go. Obviously, the PulseX saying launching soon. So it's kind of cool. We may get this testnet on the earlier side of this. So maybe late January, early February. Looking good, I think. So let's see how we go. That's just for testnet, though, of course. Mainnet could be several months later. And I've still got that in April. Still got a testnet, mainnet there, sorry, in April, June. So we'll see how we go. See how we go there. Obviously, we got the Shanghai fork. Let me just zoom on this. We've got the Shanghai fork coming up in March, and then the V3 license as well on the 1st of April. And then, of course, we've got the 2 interest rate rises coming up February and March. Hopefully, this will time together pretty well in here. And, of course, with the PulseChain launch in April of May. That's kind of the early case scenario in my view. And, of course, the PulseChain testnet V3, I think, would at least go for 6 weeks at a minimum, I would have thought, so that the team can test everything out. Users can test it, and any bugs can be found and addressed, and that the ecosystem, our top tier projects on the ecosystem can test all their dApps like Power City and Liquid Loans and all that sort of stuff on the proof of stake network. So that's you take a bit of testing there. Now, obviously, if that launches somewhere in here, they could run that all the way through, even longer, 2 months, 3 months into this period before April, May. So what's that, February, March, and then maybe into April. They could run that even longer than 6 weeks, for example. We'll see how we go there. Now, they may or may not take in the ETH withdrawals, and they can that's optional. We've had sort of confirmation from that via KDP and the dev chat there. So that looks good for, they might just do that later on, get people to stake their, become validators in Pulse. Like I say, there'll be third-party applications for Pulse validating of people under 32 million Pulse. There'll be innovations in that space for developers to do. People can, and people that don't want to run nodes, there'll be innovation in that space as well. So it's kind of a cool thing coming up. For that, let's jump over to Maximus at the moment, see how that's getting on. We've going to have a quick look at Maxi. Maxi at the moment is at 3.3 cents on Maxi. And so it's looking pretty good, 3.3 cents on Maxi. So look at the premium. Premium is at 35%, so it's really come off here. It was up at 43% a couple of days ago. It's now down at 35%, so the premium come off there. Let's have a look at Decimus, the 10-year perpetual. That's at 2.2 cents. So let's have a look at the discount, I guess. Wow. Okay. 90. Just 90% here. So 10% discount on old Decimus there. That's a 10-year perpetual. Interesting. Opportunity abounds, isn't it? So the market is for the perpetuals is discounting them at the moment. So will it stay the case in the future? We'll see. Obviously, this I guess they're discounting the time there, but Maximus is not. Obviously, Maximus has also a Forex Hedron, but that wouldn't be the defining feature. The market's certainly still premium that. Let me know in the chat why you think there's a big discount on Decimus versus Maximus. Let me know in the chat there. Let's what else we got here? We've got a 5.5% discount on Lucky, the 7-year perpetual, at the moment, and of course that is currently at 2.379 cents. Let's have a look at the 3-year trio. So now we're getting to the shorter time frame for the perpetual staking pools. Let's have a look at this. We're at 2.45 cents, and the premium or discount. Let's have a look. It is at 97%, but it did go up to 1. So it did go to 1-to-1 earlier today. Oh, that's on the 15-minute chart. Let me go to the hourly there. Yeah, so earlier today we were up at 1-to-1 on the 3-year, but that is now down just below a 3% discount versus Hex at the moment. So interesting there. And finally, our 1 year base perpetual. This is the 12 monthly. So we'll go to the daily and have a look at this. This is at 2.46 cents. Let's have a look at the premium or discount. Let's have a look here. It is pretty much, it says 0.9996, but basically 1. So it's a 1-to-1 on the base at the moment. They'll probably get premiumed as it gets closer towards the end day for this one. So how far through is it? So look here, it is currently 83 days through. So a long way to go still, I guess, for 365 days. And I imagine that's going to head towards premium at some stage later in the year. That is pretty much the perpetuals and the Hex staking pools. Obviously, there's Team and Water, and what's the Team, Water, and Wafer? Is it Wafer? No, I'm just kidding. It's Team, Water, and Poly. Poly is that one. So they've got other tokens there as well. We're not bringing those up today in particular. So that is the Maximus. These are all built on top of the Hex ecosystem. Kind of rise and fall with Hex, I guess, is the way it's going to go. But they offer great benefits to the people. Obviously, bigger pays better, cheaper gas fees, liquidity pools, things like that. So it's kind of cool. Optionality as well in terms of holding your stakes, underlying stakes. Kind of neat. Hedron as well. We've got Hedron here is sitting at 1,425 on the price. It did spike up to 1,500 today, so that's kind of nice. We've had 23 buys versus 22 sells. Buy volume 77,000 versus sell volume 71. So slightly more buy volume today. So it looks like looking slightly better than Hex is at the moment, although Hex was looking pretty good up until the last couple of hours. So that's looking not too bad for the price there. Let's jump into the HSIs. We got 4,309 Hex HSI stakes in the liquidation queue that have not yet been bought into the auction. You have to bring them in by starting the auction on these. But we do have 34 at the moment that are in the auction house that you can go and bid on with Hedron. You need to bid on with Hedron. And this is through app.acosa.pro. And of course, the founding dev was Alex McFurter, which you can find on Twitter. We've got a couple of decent sized ones in here, 72 T-shares, 37, 18 T-shares there. We've got lots of options here for people to bid on. Man, there's lots of good stuff here. 131s, 15 T-shares, 16 T-shares, something for everybody. There's a 5555. We've got that in there as well. So something for people to bid on there. These are quite a lot of options there. If you are looking to pick up some deals, maybe you can find some there with bidding on those. We'll quickly get into Watts. Over the last 24 hours, we had 2 Watts NFTs burned in the last 24 hours. 1,261 M points. And of course, you can see that is just over maybe $1,200 or so burned so far. So most people are still keeping them. It's only just over maybe about 1.5% of Watts NFTs have been burned. That being said, I think Acosa, let's have a quick look at the Acosa price. That has been near break even. Oh, it's just below. Did it actually reach? I think it was about $1. Was it? No, sorry, not $1. Was it 64 cents or something? 64 to 66 cents, somewhere in that ballpark is break even or whatever. And it's at 60 cents at the moment. So I didn't quite make it. Got to 62, so just short of that break even. I don't think people are going to really, burn their Watts NFTs. They want to make profit with it, and they're so close. So a lot of people are very close to that in terms of US dollars. So looking good there. What else? We're going to quickly get into Zen. Before we do that, let's catch up on the chat and see who else has jumped in there. Bit of a quiet day today, as we can tell. Let's see how we go. We've got what else? We've got Tintop in house there. What's up, Tintop? Good to see you as always. Who else is here? Sandy Beach is, hey everybody. Good to see Sandy Beach. Twice there, Sandy Beach. Lots of highs. Hex Force 1. Hey, Superman Hexkins. Good to see Hex Force 1. And Scott Jackson as well. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you, Scott. Pleasure as always. It's pretty much the quiet before the storm, isn't it? We're waiting. Everyone's waiting for that test net. We've got the Fed interest rates coming up on the 1st of February as well. I think we've got a pretty good week for this week. So that's next Wednesday, US time. So that's going to be pretty fun to see. So let's hope we get that 25 basis points, so that this good times can keep on rolling. That's what we wanted, the good times keep on rolling. All right, so let's jump over to Zen. Now, Zen's been pretty interesting. Now, this is a possible play, but I call it a high-quality play, but it is very quickly maybe end up moving into the probable play in the next 2 to 3 months. So stay tuned for that. Obviously, we generally focus on probable plays. That is things that are probably going to be very good for you. Obviously, we think about Richard Hart projects and things like that. But possible plays, maybe. But then you've got to evaluate all the tokenomics and all the build out and everything else that they're doing. But I tend to think this is heading towards a very high quality play. Obviously, being founded by Jack Levin from Google, there, a rapid innovator, and also open to VC capital as well. So it has lots of contacts in the space. So it's going to be fun to see this play out. So I've got a couple of bit of updates to talk about this. So obviously, one of the fundamentals things is that this is a free mint in the sense that you can mint it free. You do have to pay for the gas fees on 10 different blockchains, but you can do that. And of course, we've got one of the interesting things, of course, is the higher the gas price, the higher the price of Ethereum, the higher the gas price, the more gwei that you have to pay for your fees. So it has got fee, even though it's free. It actually is not free in the sense that you have to pay the fees on the ETH chain. It's close to free on the other chains because obviously they're not Ethereum is the main chain with all the value in it. Relatively speaking to the other chains, and this is where the main game is, right? So we've got if the gwei's high, then you're going to have to pay a higher cost of mint, and typically people are trying to get below, and I say you got to try and get below 14 gwei is kind of what you try to do, and you can get that in the weekends. Yesterday there were opportunities to get 13 gwei and stuff like that, so it's kind of cool. But the gwei has been going up over time, and of course obviously with the Ethereum rally, Bitcoin rally, and everything else, so it's pretty interesting there. Now, how many new accounts were there? 55,857. So it's still slightly on the low side given the higher the gwei. But we're at the global rank on Ethereum at 8,372,000. And of course, the EAA bonus, the early adopter bonus there is almost gone. It's down to 1.7%, started at 10%, down to 1.7%. And of course, once this global rank reaches 10 million wallets minting, then that will be zero. But of course, people will continue to mint just the way it's going to be. It's an 8-year project. But minting in the first couple of years is the key to get most of the inflation. That's how the logic works. Let's jump over to the dashboard, have a look at the supply. So the supply hit 5 trillion yesterday, I believe it was, but it hasn't really grown that much today. And that's because things are ticking over pretty nicely. So we're going to scroll down all the way down to the supply numbers. We can see that the day yesterday, on the 23rd at least, there was 57.4 billion minted or claimed, as it were, and 11.5 billion that was put to staking. Staking has been doing pretty well. And of course, the daily and the burn also doing pretty well, 11.5 billion. So imagine you're inflating a token, and then you've got all these supply sinks, whether it's staking or burning, or what other else you're going to have coming up in the future. It's pretty cool. Obviously, one of those will be the main chain, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So the net new liquidity was 45.9 billion Zen, and that's pretty low compared to, say, 2 days ago, where it was 218 billion. And we're expecting to have lower additions to supply moving ahead. Now, obviously, particularly starting from the 3rd of March. So from the 3rd of March, we should see another step down. So stepping down into February, and then a pretty decent step down in March based on current forecasts. So that is where we're at the moment. Let's have a look at the burns. So we've got, interesting enough, let me just jump into here. Out of all the people that are minting, 1.23% have failed to mint, and they've lost it. They've lost their Zen, and it never comes to the market. So it's penalties, and this supply sink never hits the market. 1.23% of all the stuff that gets mint so far has been lost. So that's the first supply sink. The second supply sink is burns. That's currently at 8.78%. 522 billion has been burned. People minting the NFTs. The Apex in particular. And then, of course, we've got stakes at 6.47%, 385 billion. So that means that we've got just over 15%, 15.15% has been sunk, the supply sunk there. So the liquidity is now sitting at 5 trillion and 49 billion. So that's kind of the overview there. We can see the trends, though, in the supply sinks, stakes, penalties, and burns. So if you've got a lot of inflation, you want to get rid of a lot, right? And this is how you do it with these 3 mechanisms. And of course, you can do them over different products. And we can see that they are going up. Look at that. Nice little uptrends there for all of them. That's kind of cool. So we'll be watching that very closely. Now, getting on to future mints, of course, we may have 5 trillion now, but what we're going to have in the future. And of course, here we are sitting at 57.3 trillion to be mined in the future. We can see this orange line here showing us how that's going to play out. and up and away. So we can see in this chart itself that by the time we get to about the 3rd of March, that we drop off this level, these green bars here, we drop off the daily mints and we start going down. We do have some spike skyscrapers in there, but for the most part, we can see a really lower amount of minting until we get to, let's say, September, and then it starts to rise up after that. So we've got this March to September, but during this time of March to September, we have a lot of the roadmap rolling out, particularly testing it for the X1 chain, the main chain for Zen that's going to be up and running possibly within the next month or two with the testnet there, and we'll be looking forward to that. And then it will be switched over to the main chain. So that's kind of where we're heading at the moment. Now, obviously, people with the high gas prices, people have to mint short, longer term, and have to push that out. So it's going to be fun to see that play out as people cannot play the short game so well anymore because the gas price is so much expensive there. So we're going to see how this plays out. All right, so cool. Let's quickly look at the news there. Jack Levin obviously talked about this yesterday. The new Zen chain will be called X1 chain with X1 gas native currency. Now, remember, this is very different from PulseChain, for example, which is forking the proof of stake chain. This is going to be a nice little easy chain based off Polygon there, using one of their products to do this. And of course, it's going to be very different at that point. So it's not going to have a system state of Ethereum. We're using the same big chugging engine that proof of stake has for Ethereum. So just remember that. We will have 1 billion. So they're going to have 1 billion to deflationary supply. So they're borrowing off the BNB model there, where they're going to be burning 50% of all transaction fees will be burned. 50% of the supply will be burned over a set period of time. So it's Pumpamental. So it's just another one of the Pumpamentals. And obviously, they're going to look to have developers build on top of that chain, not just all the other 10 chains that they're currently on at the moment. So it's one of the Pumpamentals there. So the possible play is starting to look even more probable, and it's going to be interesting to see that play out. Now, looking at the Apex NFTs, which is the first product they launched, we can see they've got 30 Zen unicorns there, and that you have to burn 10 billion Zen for each of these. So it's 30 times 10 billion there. That's a pretty big amount, 300 billion. We got exotics, legendary, epic, and rare. So people are burning these. As inflation grows, these will be one of the supply sinks that people will be chasing these down instead of selling their Zen or putting into another product. They'll be burning and trying to get these limited NFTs over time. So these will probably all go eventually. The other side, of course, is that a lot of people are doing the Zenturions. You can see that most of the Zenturions, 2,521 are those. And that's where people can do some batch minting and get a lot of the inflation. There's the game that's going on there. Then you have a mixed period here all the way through all these. So there's currently 10,000 collectors. These are the ones where people are minting Zen. Limited is at 162. This is probably the only one that's going to struggle a little bit more. It's based on max term. The design's probably not the best in limited. It's probably the weakest one for sure. But the Apex and the collectors seem to be working very well indeed. So that's kind of the play there. So it's going to be fun to see that. Obviously on the roadmap, there's Phoenix coming out. There's Next, which is going to have competitive burning. So you're going to see a lot more supply sinks. And then, of course, with the layer 1 chain here, they are going to be doing something very interesting. They're going to be issuing a X1 chain on Ethereum, X1 token on Ethereum. People will then be able to burn their Zen for their X1 chain and then be able to transpose that over to the testnet when that comes out potentially within the next month or two. And that's going to be fun to see that. So they'll be operating. So imagine the idea is that Zen is free for everybody. You can mint it yourself. You have to make a choice. And there's going to be a lot of that. And then you're going to go into for the X1 chain, and that's going to be limited. It's going to be scarce and, of course, burning as well. So you're going from abundancy to scarcity. And this is the play here that's going on in terms of value. So it's going to be interesting to see how that tokenomics plays out. But the logic makes sense. So it's going to be fun there. Now, you have two options. You have I play or I don't play. So you play means that you play in all these ecosystem dApps like Next, like the X1 chain, like the NFTs. You can play. You can choose to play, or you can choose not to play, and you just hold the Zen and you play the Zen on the ETH chain. So that's kind of where it's going to be. It's going to be fun to see this play out. So it's kind of like going to be fun. Going to be fun to see that. That is pretty much it on there. Now we're going to get into switch back over to PulseChain, and this is something that's pretty interesting. So before we get into this, let's see who else has jumped in the chat there. We got Wookie in the house there. We are in the eye of the bear. Says Wookie in the eye of the bear. That's funny, man. That's funny. I love that bit, Wookie. We got JB in house there. Hit the likes. Says JB. Smash the likes as well. Now, this is from Braytep here. I've been watching Stargate. So if you know Stargate, Stargate has all the Egyptian mythology and stuff like that. I'm up to season 8 there. Man, I had some good episodes just the last couple of days there. It was pretty cool. We got good old Bal out there trying to conquer. We got the lots of cool stuff happening there. Anyway, I better not get too distracted. But Braytep in here in the house has responded to one of the Hex and PulseChain influencers on Twitter there, and of course just said context is important. This is a public dev room in response to devs after Richard Hart spoke about these things. No breaking news will come from me in secret or in public. All news, and that is all news, breaks from Richard Hart and only him. Remember that when you see tweets. So I guess that was the FOMO about PulseChain testnet v3 was getting a bit too heated on Twitter there, and it's just been cooled down a little bit here by Braytep. So there we are from the team. But it is coming, and they are getting close. So you can understand the excitement is hard to hold back, right? Hard to hold back. So that is pretty much it for the PulseChain. We just flicked over to the hour, and of course we've got day 1,149 on the Hex daily stats to come off pretty shortly. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, one of the other things I'm looking to do is I'm currently looking at, as you guys know, looked at other software to do streaming. I think I might have found another good software, and so I'm going to try. I may end up streaming with that tomorrow. That's for sure. The other thing, of course, I'm going to be trying to get a couple of people on the. I may have a couple of interviews coming up here on Hex Token channel. As you guys know, I haven't done a lot of those lately, so I may end up having that. Pulse Bitcoin will probably be one of them. I may end up having Pepe on here, so stay tuned. That may be as early as tomorrow, possibly, depending on things can be secured. And then, of course, got another special guest coming up that may be on as well, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, we're waiting for the day 1149 off the data to update. That's going to probably take another 10 minutes or so, and it's going to jump back to the Hex chart here, and let's go to the hourly. Let's go to the hourly here. Bam. So that's some of the highlights for today. There's not a lot of updates from the project teams today. Not a lot of updates from a lot of the other charts as well. Most of the charts are not, they're all just pulled back really. That's kind of where we're at the moment. Hex was actually doing pretty well up to a couple of hours ago compared to the other charts, 2.55. But then we just got some of the larger holders, medium holders selling off here the last couple of hours. That's kind of where we are at this stage. So let me just get in there. I might put that on the 15-minute actually, and that's a 15-minute chart. So we just had a little bit of selling in here, as you could see, probably about 6 accounts or so. So let me just get onto here. I'm just trying to find my messages. So we may end up getting Pepe on here about Pulse Bitcoin. Now, obviously, Pulse Bitcoin has had quite the big sell-off. So if we go to our Pulse Bitcoin charts, it's had quite the big sell-off here. We've had Pulse Bitcoin down at $1.12. We have Pulse Dogecoin at $3.92 and asset tokens at $1.17. So when is it over? When is it over? Let's have a quick look at these charts. We will try and get one of the whales, Pepe, on the channel and talk about that. But Pulse Bitcoin at the moment got down to 87 cents. Is currently at $1.12. So on the RSI, we did bounce off the oversold on the RSI there when we did get down to 87 cents. We got oversold and it did bounce. But the bounce is, it's a modest bounce there. Obviously, in percentage terms, it still looks pretty good. Up 28%, but it's still a modest bounce compared to where the price has been. So we'll see what happens here. Obviously, this is the output token, but it is the appreciating store of value token. Obviously, trying to appreciate in terms of store value, either by yield or by or in terms of price. So we'll see how they go. I have, been constructively, provided constructive feedback about their target markets and their marketing. So I did talk about that in the video the other day. Pulse Dogecoin, the meme coin, of course, is the original one, airdrop to Hex stakers. And of course, that was pretty nice there. Now that has dipped down dramatically today, $3.07. Look at that dip today, unbelievable. Currently at $3.92. Who would have thought? So there's where the meme coin. Remember that this has had a 56% burn off, and of course, but the problem is it is still competing against the other tokens in the ecosystem and relative token performance as well. Obviously, I think that the Pulse Bitcoin ecosystem was probably, this is my speculation, possibly impacted by the PulseChain testnet news, and of course funds will flow to the next big thing, right? So that may be an issue there. The RSI never quite got into oversold territory either, because it's actually been holding up so, just going down slowly, but really deep dive down there today. So there's only about 2.5 million of these tokens, but it's still not as scarce as the ASIC token. That was really scarce at about 600,000 to 700,000 on the circulating supply, because remember, 20 million ASICs were used to mine, and of course, there's no way of getting new ASIC tokens except through the ATMs. So that's the only way to get them. Now, obviously, this sold down to 91 cents for the ASIC. I can't believe it. It's amazing. We were up here at $3, and here it just sold down to 91 cents. But that's because instead of having 600,000 or 700,000 out in circulating supply, it doubled to 1.5 million pretty much. And that's not great. People are supposed to be mining with these ASIC tokens, not sitting on them circulating and speculating. But in this case, because the price started breaking down, maybe because PulseChain as well, people have decided to speculate on selling out. So you get a bit of fear going in there as well. And also around the PulseChain. So the prices end up selling down there, been a bit of victim. Now, has there been other players in there selling down? I guess there has been as well. So just the way it goes. It's not even in oversold territory completely yet. It's currently at 90. It's got down here about 32 on the RSI. So not even oversold territory. So you got to be cautious here, even at this low level, because of where it's at. So that is some of the stuff there. Now we're wanting to try and get Pippi on here. I may end up having him here on tomorrow, possibly, if I can get that confirmed. And we'll see what his perspectives are of what's going on here with the Pulse Bitcoin system. Obviously, that's a couple of my comments. Dave down under in house there. Sorry, I haven't been here much. Still on holidays. It's going to be exciting soon. I think so, Dave. I think so. It's good that you're getting rested for the excitement of what's coming for us. Brendan says, when you say Pippi, it reminds me of Pippis in the Sandy Beach at the beach. Yeah. Well, Sandy could tell you about. I guess they have Pippis on every beach. I'm not sure. Brendan says, why would people just sit on the ASICs? They will miss out on the best rate before halving. Yeah, I guess so. But the system is under pressure at the moment, Brendan. Hey, but every system often has, if it's not going to have cascade failure, then it's normally it finds some bottom and then moves up from there. So maybe the selling will get a bit tired. Maybe it's getting a bit tired now, or maybe it's still a couple of days away. We'll see. And he's laughing at the beach and the Pippies there, yeah. So that's pretty much that. Let's jump over to, we're waiting for day 1149 off the Hex Daily Stats, so we'll wait a bit longer for that. In the meantime, let's pull up the staking ladder. Let's bring that up here. Bam. It is particularly quiet on the news front today, so we haven't got as many updates as we normally have. As you guys know, I normally try to scout those out for you guys to make it, so that you can just get an update on one live stream. But the news is pretty quiet at the moment. Let's have a look at the stakes coming out. Now, one thing, of course, we've got all these stakes coming out. It is the global staking ladder for Hex. We've got this 530 million Hex coming out on the 1st of February. We've got a couple other candles around it. But of course, we've got the Hex Godwell here coming out on the 14th of February. And of course, on the 16th, we're expecting that big jump of 600 Hex per T-share. So if you're going to be staking, really get your stakes in before that time, because it's going to cost you 600 Hex more per T-share. Whether you're doing, especially if you're doing shorter term staking, that will be of a big impact to you. Obviously, you're doing longer impact. It's basically earlier is better, so you're going to get the benefit. Even with longer pays better, you're still getting a higher share rate. So remember that. The thing is, what's this Hex Goldwire going to do after this? That's going to be the fun thing to see what happens with that. Imagine if it rinsed and repeated. That would be really weird. That would be cool. It'd be cool and not so cool. Depends on what you think about that. It'd be interesting there. So anyway, yeah, remember it changes the APY, the share pool, and the share rate. So just remember that. That's quite a big impact. Having over 2.2 billion Hex sitting right there. We got rid of the billion candles, and we've got all these lower candles now. So the staking there looks pretty good. We've still got far too much Hex liquid out there, and maybe it's waiting for PulseChain, maybe it's speculating, maybe people are nervous, who knows, about the price pullbacks, who knows. but there's still a lot of circulating out there. I estimate something around 15 billion. A lot of that is generally inactive. Large holders hold some of it too. We have seen some of those whales come, some with their liquid stuff, some with ending stakes early, selling down as well. So just because their stake doesn't mean that they can't end stakes stuff, specifically once they get to 50% generally, they can do that. That's why I expect in 2025, 2026, if we do have high prices in 2024, that we may get quite a bit of sell pressure and a lot of penalties again. We're going to have big rounds of penalties every time the price pumps. That we'll see a lot of these like stakes that are out in 2020, 2030, 29, 2030. These ones we'll see quite a bit get emergency end staked at 50%. The way, just because they're trading off the yield for the price, it's going to be some funny stuff there. 25, 26. So that's what I expect to see. All right, that is that. So we're waiting for the daily results there. A day 1149. It has come off the press here, so it's hot off the press. 24th of January 2023. We got the price just down just a tad there at 2.441, 0.2% down. And we've got the payout per T-share, 6.277 Hex per T-share. Obviously, Hex is also all about getting more T-shares. The T-share price, $625, and the share rate is up 6.2 Hex per T-share today, up to 25,614. Now, the only way to get that for cheaper is longer pays better, really, or bigger pays better, but longer pays better in particular. You can get that for a third of the price if you stake out 10 years, and of course, it's 20% more shares per year, up to 10 years there, so up to 200%. The average stake length is 6.5 years. The APY is 36.25%. Liquidity in the pool is 252 million Hex. So it's down quite a bit from yesterday, which is pretty interesting given that the price has changed slightly there. That means that liquidity providers have changed the game here. So there's a bit of change there. More USD in there, $2.2 million on the LP there. So obviously V3 must have been some significant changes in V3 liquidity. And the liquidity in the pool there, 733 ETH there. Now that looks a bit weird, the ETH there. Not sure if is that correct. Looks a bit weird on the ETH side there. Just make sure I've got the right day. Yeah, it looks right. Looks a bit weird that something's not right there. All right, then we'll come back to it tomorrow. Maybe there's something issue there. We've got T-shares, change in T-shares, 4,029. And of course, we're up to 10.3 million there. It's going to be interesting to see after the Hex Godwell comes out what that looks like too. Could be down dramatically, down towards the 10 million there. We'll see. Depends on what it does. So what else have we got going? Let's go over to the percentage of coins staked. 10.09% of all Hex is staked at the moment. We've got our penalties at 755,000. Kind of a modest day today for penalties. And we've got the growth in the numbers. Holders up 22, up to 317,082 on Etherscan. So that'll be some of the Etherscan number. We've got current stakers up 29 to 117,913. This is our headline number. Hex is about getting buying Hex, staking Hex, and getting T-shares and getting stakers in the ecosystem. That's what it's all about. And of course, that's up 29 today. Holders up 168 to 524,922. We're just finished day 1,149, and now we're on day 1,150 with the base Hex payout at about 6.2 Hex per T-share. Hex is in its second month of its fourth year, and it's rocking on. Hey, you realize as we're getting towards the end of January, we're getting closer to, I guess, highest of stakes, because that's expected to be out in Q1, Q2, and wouldn't that be cool? That's going to really get people charged up. And of course, all the YouTubers out there in PulseChain Hex universe, all the ones that have been quiet, all the ones that are not consistent, they all come out of the woodworks, hopefully, and we'll have maybe up to 130, 150 YouTubers out there shilling out the highest of stakes documentary. And of course, that's going to feed, we'll have feed-ons into other influencers as well. So that's going to be pretty cool. We look forward to the highest of stakes, a very, very bullish pump mental. And of course, leading into PulseChain too. We're pretty cool. So one pump mental to another pump mental. And we love it. We love it. So it's going to be a fun year this year, 2023, for at least for our community, I suspect. It's going to be a lot of fun indeed. All right. So that is the Hex Daily Stats. And it's all pretty quiet today. Oh, we've just got a bit more selling going in here on Hex at the moment, down to 2.43 cents. Just the way it goes sometimes, isn't it? As the market is pulling back a bit, is it? Yeah, it's pulling back already. Pulling back here. We'll see whether the market actually pulls back earlier before next week with the Fed interest rates on the 1st, whether this is just a blip before then. we may end up doing okay up to that point. But definitely stock market pulled off, and maybe there's a bit of risk aversion going on at the moment. So there we are, 2.43 cents, sorry, is where we are at the moment on the 15 minute. Going to the daily on Hex, we're sitting at, you can see that we're still in a bullish trend, but it is closing out a little bit here. So we will need a nice little green pump here on one of the daily charts. Maybe we'll get that later today. We'll see. Or will the market sell it down a bit here? We'll have a red day. We'll see how we get on. All right, that's pretty much it for today's news. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Man, it is very quiet on the news front, so we're going to have a shorter live stream today. It's 51 minutes. It's probably as short as it gets there. Brazilji says, hi, Sandy. I think Brazilji, let's just go to Twitter before we wrap up, because I think Brazilji has got something on Twitter around NFTs, I think it is. Brazilji there. It's on OpenSea. Brazilji. I've got to spell Brazilji properly. Brazilji. And I think you might have posted something on NFTs, I believe. Let me have a look here. Brazilji's got something here. Let's see some in here. Staker class crabs. So Brazilji's done some NFTs around here. I'm not sure if you posted anything on here. OpenSea here. Hex and PulseChain inspired art. So this is the one here. Let's retweet that. So if you guys want to go check this out and retweet, I'm sure Brazilji would appreciate that. That is the link to Brazilji's NFTs. I'm not sure how they're issued or anything, but Brazilji, it could be in Discord and talk about that. Brazilji NFTs. All right, so that is it. Brazilji NFTs. Free staker badges, says Briz. Free staker badges. Briz is so talented, says Sandy. And of course, right click and save them, says Briz. Right click and save them. Nice. All right, so that is cool. You guys can spread the word on that. Go follow Briz as well. And let's go to OpenSea, have a quick look at this before we wrap up today's live stream. Hex and PulseChain inspired art. Kind of cool. $1 US seems pretty good value there, Briz. There's some cool art in here. Look at this. Neat. I've got some $20 ones here. It's going up in value. So nice one there. So it's all pretty modestly priced for NFTs, but cool to see. Look at them all. Nice. You've been working hard there, Briz. They look really cool. Really good work there. Yeah, nice. Staker class whale. That'd be pretty cool. What else there? Nice. I like this staker class whale, and that one there. Staker class shark, staker class crab, staker class shrimp. Yeah, they're pretty nice actually, to be honest. I like some of the robotic sea urchins as well. Man, there's quite a few in there, isn't there? Actually, what does it say about the top data here? Collected 135, created 129. So it's kind of cool. So if you want to check those out, that is on there too. So I'll give you the link if you want to check those out. Kishi's in house says Railgun, cool project for privacy on ETH. The North Korean hackers used it apparently. Well, says QQ, indeed. We talked about that earlier. Maybe a Scooby NFT, says Sandy Beach. Thank you, says Briz. No, you're welcome, man. That's some really good artwork. Really, really nice stuff there. Tont says, I looked through the astronaut dog canvas on Etsy. I'm going to get one. Brazilji, nice. PulseChain NFT is now live, says Michael R. Well, I might have to pull it up tomorrow, Michael. Remind me in Discord. Pull up the PulseChain one. All right, so cool. Some good work there. Nice one there, Briz. So if you want to bid on those or get those, I guess you can just add them. They're pretty reasonably priced. They're $1. You wouldn't get that for a lot of NFTs. So nice one there. All right, let's go back to Brazilji's Twitter space there. Free staker badges. Right click and save is the answer there. And what else? There's squid stakers. Mine there. What's there? Free mine staking badges, which you can see on there. Kind of cool. Yeah, some nice stuff there. So check all that out with Briz, and if you want any questions, I'm sure he can help you in Discord. Get into our Discord, and if you want any help with those, you could have a chat and maybe have an audio chat. Maybe we'll have a little session after the live stream, Briz. If you want to get into the audio on Discord, and under the crypto and money chat, and start a chat there if people want to talk about Brazology's NFTs, Hex and PulseChain inspired art. So definitely check that out after the live stream, which is about to finish in a minute or two. So if you want to jump into Discord, the link's in the video description. Maybe one of the moderators can post the link to Discord in the chat there. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell for future videos. It is the quiet before the storm, literally. Today's pretty quiet today. And of course, if you want to catch up with Brazology about his new NFT artwork and maybe how you can get some of those, get into Discord, into the chat there, and they'll be in there, I'm sure. All right, so take care, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now. Let's play out some fun music on the way out. You know how we rock and roll on this channel. We love haters' tears, so let's do that. All right, bye for now.
Art here in my $3,000 Valentino Rockstud purse, my $3,000 Prada jacket, $2,000 Prada shirt, $2,000 or $3,000 Prada pants, Prada glasses, Prada hat, Prada bracelet, and it's all Prada, 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 Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off. Prada, 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 Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.